Dear students and viewers, welcome to my class, Cryptography and Network Security in the subject. So, under this subject, I would like to deal with the last unit, that is fifth unit in Cryptography CNA subject. The topic as email security. So, before going to that, I would like to introduce myself. Myself is Dr. Anjaya, Professor of CSC, working in St. Peter's Engineering College, Hyderabad. So now I would like to discuss today with email security. So email is electronic mail, email, very popularly, widely. So many netizens are using email. How they are having each and every citizen is having unique numbers. Let us take almost all every educated person and every netizen citizens and netizens, they are having their own electronic mail. So would like to discuss elaborately how this email, what is the background history of this email, what are the features of email, what are the threats of email, what are the users of email, what are the various different type of technical aspects are embedded in the email. We'll see all these in this lecture. So now coming to here, so here for this email we require to a basic implementation under the technical support of this email is BGP. Very important. So it is one type of open source software. We'll see what is BGP. Pretty good privacy, provides a confidential and authentication service that can be used for electronic mail and file storage applications. So this BGP is very widely used open source platform, open source application. It is widely used for electronic mail and file storage. So it is developed by Phil Zimmerman. So selected the best available cryptographic algorithms as a building blocks, and next integrate these algorithms into general purpose applications independent on any operating system, and processor that is based on a small set of easy to use commands with the help of simple commands. So it can works on any operating system, on any processor. So simple tasks. So and for all these, the algorithms will be integrated, and the packages are its documentation, including source code, and it will be available freely in internet and bulletin boards and commercial networks. And entered into an agreement with a company provides a fully compatible version of PGP, right? So we'll see how this PGP will be implemented. All this. Now here the PGP growth. It is available for a free worldwide version that run on variety of platforms, right? It can available on any platforms, and it can run also. That is a good advantage of this PGP. And this commercial version satisfies users who want products that comes with vendor support, and it is based on the algorithm that has survived extensive public review and extremely secure, and it is a wide range of applicability, and is developed and it was not developed by, nor it is controlled by any governmental or any standard organization, right? Is now an internet standards track. However, it's still an aura of an anti-establishment endeavor. So this is PGP growth. Now coming to here, the summary of PGP services. How this PGP includes, what are the various algorithms, functions are embedded in the PGP. We'll see in detail. So initially, the function is a digital signature. So this is one type of standard security approach. Digital signature function. Algorithms used as DSS, digital signature standard, or SHA, nothing but secure hash algorithm, or RSA, right? Reverse Shaliman Adliman, or secure hash algorithm, RSA slash SHA, DSSR slash SHA. So description is a hash code of messages created using SHA-1. This message digest is encrypted using DSS or RSA with sender's private key and including the message. Now here this DSS and RSA algorithms are used, and message digest is encrypted with the help of public key, right? A private key, and included with all these versions. Now here message encryption. In message encryption, algorithm is used IDA and triple DS, right? Or DFLMN or RSA. So these are all algorithms you can use in message encryption. And the description coming to here, the message is encrypted using CAST 128. This is one standard procedure for encrypted system, or IDA algorithm, or triple DS. One-time session key generated by the sender. The session key is encrypted using DFLMN or RSA with the recipient's public key and encrypted with message. So here what happens is the encryption will be happening. So with the help of IDA, DDS algorithms, and one-time session key will be generated, and the entire session is encrypted. And after recipients, they may use public keys or DFLMN or RSA. So for encryption side, sender is using different algorithms. For decryption side, receiver is using different type of algorithm. That is nothing but here this is. And compression, and coming to this compression function. So algorithm is used zip. So next, the message may be compressed for storage or transmission using zip. So this is one type of special type of algorithm. We'll see what is how zip is included in coming. And email compatibility function is email compatibility for this radix 64 conversion. So here how we are going to convert different code conversions will be there. Unique and ABCD code similar to radix 64 conversion will be there in this. To provide transparency for email applications, an encrypted message may be converted into ASCII string using radix 64-bit conversion. So here we know already ASCII and ANSI code conversion, string conversions, right? Provide with the email always provides transparency. In order to provide this transparency, we are going to converting ASCII code format and radix 64 conversion. Now PGP authentication. Now here how PGP will be authenticated. We'll see. The combination of SHA and RSA provides effective digital signature scheme, right? And so now here SHA1 and RSA, these are widely used algorithms. SHA, secure hash algorithm, that is SHA1, and RSA, best popular algorithm is RSA. Rives Shalimar Adliman, RSA stands for the three scientists that developed very popular algorithm. So now here, SHA1 and RSA provides an effective digital signature scheme. Digital signature scheme DSS is very important. So it is actually a special type of security standard with amalgamation of these two algorithms. It gives a strong strength from recipient side, and the processor's matching private key can generate a signature. So when the processor, if the matching private key, then only it can generate the signature, because the strength of SHA that the recipient is assured that no one else could generate new message that matches hash code. Now here we're using two types of algorithms. That's why so they are going to generate each and every level. Once if the recipient is assured the message will be mapped to the hash code. If it matches only, it can allow. That is the digital signature standard, digital signature scheme feature. Next, an alternative signature can be generated using DSS and SHA1. Next, detached signatures are supported. Each person's signature is independent and therefore applied only to the document. Right? Here, this digital signature standard is a specific type of security standard. PGP confidentiality provided by encrypting message to be transmitted or be stored locally as files. In both cases, symmetric encryption algorithm CAST 128 bit may be used, and alternatively IDE or TDS may be used, and 64-bit cipher feedback mode is used. So these are the internal implication of PGP. How PGP confidential is because of CFB mode operation. IDE or TDS algorithm, it may use a symmetric encryption algorithm, that is CIST 128 bit, right? With the help of these three features, it maintain confidentiality. And symmetric key is only once. So here there is a session key, and it is a real-time one-time key. Session keys are always, as per our previous discussions, it is generated only once, one time only. and session key is bound to message transmitted with it, and it is also protected from the receiver's public key. So this is about regarding session key. As an alternative used to the RSA for encryption, PGP uses Elgamal and another Diffelman also. So now alternate for this RSA, sometimes this PGP use Diffelman, Elgamal algorithm and Diffelman key exchange also they can use alternate of RSA. So because of all these algorithms, only PGP will use high confidentiality. Because of this only, the electronic email is more secure. So PGP confidentiality and authentication. Now here we'll see how this PGP authenticated and confidential features. Both services may be used for the same message. First signature is generated in a plain text message and prepended to the message, and then the plain text message plus signature is encrypted using IDA AAAS algorithms, session keys encrypted RSA. When both services are used, now here this the following diagram will show how this confidential authentication will be applied. The same IDA AAAS algorithms are applied, right? Then once again session keys are encrypted in RSA algorithm or Algamal, the same whatever just now we discussed. So PGP confidentiality. Now here the following diagrams will show how this confidential authentication will be refers. The sender first signs the message with its own private key, then encrypt the message with the session key, and finally encrypt the session key with the recipient's public key. So now here, private key, session key, public key. These three keys in the three level they are going to verify. That's why it provides more authenticate. You see, so how these three stages, three keys will be encrypted and they are going to keep data will be more secure. PGP compression. As default of this PGP compresses the message after applying signature, but before encryption, it can apply. So saving space for email transmission or file storage. The placement of the compression algorithms is critical. It is applying for hash functions and PGP implementations in the compression algorithms, right? It may use for a message encryption is applied after the compression of entire cryptographic security. So the compression algorithm is ZIP. So now here we are using ZIP compression algorithm. ZIP compression algorithm we are using, right? And we are going to strengthen the entire cryptographic security. So with the help of all these features, this is nothing but PGP compression. So the attackers, hackers, they may not involve at any case because their confidential authentication is more. And after applying all these, once again we are going to apply the chip compression algorithm also. Instead of using all these algorithms keys, wide variety of public key, private key, session key, and all these 3 to 4 algorithms in BGP, even though we are going to apply the compression feature here. So that's why it will use more secure BGP email compatibility. So many electronic mail systems are permit with use of blocks consisting of ASCII text, right? So in this scheme, so we are going to provide ASCII characters, printable, and radix 64 conversions, and it is mapped into the binary data. And after that, we may get from CRC also detection of transmission errors. So all these compatibility we may maintain this PGP. We are going to correcting error correction will be done with CRC and mapping with ASCII characters, and we are converting with radix 64 conversion, and we are applying all these algorithms, and this data completely be in a binary format, right? So with the help of all this, email will be compatibility. Now once again we are using that is email is S/MIME, secure multipurpose internet mail extension. This is also very important. A security enhancement with MIME internet email format standard based on technology from RSA data security. So this is also another type of standard base for email. Actually, email is came before going to email. First, initially it is came as a S/MIME, multi-purpose internet mail extension. secure multi-purpose internet mail extension. Later on, it will be converted into email, electronic mail. But before going to that, we renamed as /MIME. After we renamed as email. But now coming here, security enhancement to the MIME internet email from standard on technology from RSA data security. So we have taken with RSA data security for this /MIME, and RFC is 33370385038513852. So here RFCs they play key role. Request for comments. This is for some internet feedbacks. Based upon this, the technology will be improved. So these are the corresponding comment numbers, RFC standards with help of feedback of users. Request for comments. So based upon this, so they developed this /MIME RFC 5322, right? Now here RFC 5322 is a base for this. So you have a text message sent to using electronic mail, and messages are viewed in having an envelope and contents. Right, the envelope contains whatever information needed to accomplish transmission and delivery, and the contents compose the objective to deliver to the recipient. And the same as our previously we were writing our own traditional method, writing a letter to someone. So in this case, how we are going to maintain address and contents, right? So similar to here also, this RFC 5322 will help you over writing the contents, right? Next, so this is the MIME specification include the following elements. So these are all how MIME consisting. What are the protocol is enabled here. So here SMTP, Simple Mail Transfer Protocol, is very useful, and this is the base for entire electronic mail. So electronic mail email is working on SMTP only, Simple Mail Transfer Protocol only. We know protocol is having specific standards and rules. So now here, so the specifications IMI is following diagram will shows the specifications. Transfer encodings are defined that enable the conversion of any content format into format that is protected for alternation by the email. Right. So now here transfer of encoding entire defined enable conversions. Now here conversions will be done. We have seen previously how Radix 64, how ASCII codes were converting. Right. And next the body of entire content how we are going to replace. So we have seen with help of RFC 5322 radar. Next, a number of content formats defined in the standardization support of multimedia electronic mail. Now here representation of the supporting multimedia. So this is the entire MIME divided into three important stages, right? Three important equal portions. The first portion is encoding, right, with different type of encoding decoding versions. And next is content format 5322. With help of this 5322 we are going to maintaining headers and content, right? And next, so in the third portion we are going to maintain the entire standardized representation for electronic mail, support multimedia files, sometimes audio video. We are sharing with the help of mail, audio video contents, how we are going to share, right? So with help of this electronic mail. Now here the 5 headers field defined in MIME. So the following are the MIME version. And the next content type, next content transfer encoding, content ID, content description. So these are all the header fields by maintained by MIME version. So parameter version value, and RFCs names, message confirm of entire RFCs, and content types. So which content is good for appropriate mechanisms, right? In appropriate manner, that is content. Content transfer encoding. So here we know that how this will be transported. Next, content ID. So each and every content having specific identity. And description. Description means we are going to refer the content of entire code, right? So now here /MIME functionality. So envelope data, Signed data, clear signed data, signed and envelope data. Now we are see this slash MIME perform how a different type of functionalities. Envelope data means consists of encrypted content of any type and encrypted content of encryption keys for one or more recipients. So here we are going to encryption of keys and more recipients of content, that is called envelope data. And signed data means now here message digest with private key of encryption. So that is called signed data. Here the contents plus signature in the base 64 encoding. And the signed data a message can be viewed only recipient of /me liability. And next, clear signed data. Only the digital signature is encoding using base 64. And next, signed and envelope data. Combination of these two. Signed only and encrypted only entities may be nested. So envelope the nesting of these both signed and envelope data, right? So that is nothing wrong, but here signed and envelope data. So here you see how this yeah, how this envelope data. So how this envelope data will be processed, we'll see. The steps for preparing envelope data is initial. The first step is we are going to pseudo session key. We're generating a pseudo random session key for a particular symmetric encryption algorithm. And second step, for each recipient, where encrypt session key and recipient of public key of RSA key. And next, third step, for each recipient, prepare a block known as recipient information and contains that identifier and recipient public key. And the next, encrypt them in fourth step, encrypt the message with content with session key. So like here, so these are the envelope data, how they are processed, right, in MIME. So we will see next class how this email and its threads, like different type of scenarios we will see in next class. Thank you everyone.